Beautiful things have been having World Youth Day here in Sydney is that the people from Samoa, from Tonga, from many people from the Solomon Islands, you know, and some of the communications are not very good in these places, so they have to travel for days just to get to the main island in order to then be able to connect to get over here.
Yes.
And it's been the fruit also too of a lot of goodwill on the part of people helping with money, with transport. Fantastic.
I saw someone say today, actually, in one of the newspapers, I think, that while the face of World Youth Day has been the youth, as it should be, and they've been fantastic in terms of the image. Behind the scenes, apart from, well, you're pretty young yourself, Mary, but behind the scenes have been parents and families who've taken in these 40,000 billets, and others who've looked after them on the trains and you know, provided money and food and so on to these people who aren't youth.
Well, you hear it from everybody, everywhere. People who are staying in Newcastle, people who are staying in Wollongong, people who are staying in Menai. You know, they're all raving about the hospitality, just how wonderful everyone has been for them. I met a group from Louisiana, some high school kids, and they were saying that they were just spoiled rotten. And they said, look, if you don't want to go to the World Youth Day, just stay with us. You're fine.
Yes. Now, tell us what's happening now, Richard. We're in a period where the Pope's preparing for Mass. He's obviously changing the vestments.
Yes. Well, the preparation for Mass is actually a key point for the priest for Mass. You can often tell, in fact, how well a priest has prepared when you see him celebrating Mass. John Paul II, I know, would take preparation for Mass very seriously. There was one occasion I heard where they had a big event similar to this in St. Peter's, and there was a lot of confusion, a lot of noise, cardinals, altar boys, thuribles, all happening, and they were doing a final check. Okay, we've got altar boys, we've got cardinals, and where's the Pope? Where's the Pope? The Pope's missing. And they went looking for him. And they opened up the door of the bathroom and they hit against a foot. And there was the Pope kneeling in prayer with his head on the basin, lost in prayer. But he had to find somewhere where he'd be contemplative. And I'm sure that the Holy Father will be, at least on the inside, really trying to do that, to prepare himself for what is the most important act of Catholic worship, which is the sacrifice of the Mass.
And we should mention again as part of the preview that the vestments he's wearing and the rest of the deacons and others are wearing were made in Italy, especially for this World Youth Day, with the Australian design,
yes,
with the Aboriginal design, which Marjorie's bird.
Ah, yes, that's right. It was quite extraordinary. It's a bit like the event last night with the halo around the moon. I'm sure someone can give a very straightforward, explanation of that, but it was certainly beautiful. But you know that she was there at the...
What would a philosopher say about that?
Well, there's more in heaven and earth than in your philosophy, dear Horatio. But no, that she was able to see. She was able to see that image in the clouds was something.
And I think the idea was, with all the vestments, that this was made especially for today's Mass, and the Pope will have, as they all will have, the Southern Cross on the front of the vestment, and that, as we'll see in a moment, that Marjorie's bird, which was an image that she saw when she was out fishing near Melville Island, the Tiwi Islands one night, an image in the sky.
That's right. I know the Pope himself was very interested in the Southern Cross. Somebody I know was able to accompany the Pope out in the evening sky and show him the Southern Cross, and he felt very privileged to be able to see something that in the Northern Hemisphere it's not possible to see.
Right. And the bird, as you'll see, as we've seen in the big symbol at the front of the altar, or the stage really here, and we saw at Barangaroo, Mary,
right,
is the bird with what she saw was a bird figure casting light, casting diamonds, casting jewels, this image of the Holy Spirit.
Yeah, she actually did come and speak to one of the Youth Festival events about that story, and the whole audience was absolutely gripped. There was a very strong Indigenous presence at that particular event, and it's a feature that's been consistent throughout the whole World Youth Day. There's been a lot of Indigenous presence, which is really great to see, that unity.
Oh, the way of the cross, you know.
That's right.